Okay, hey, just one more thing before we get into the process of change in terms of the different stages in the process of change. One more thing is the spiritual process of change that is occurring in all of us. For one thing, I think being aware of the fact that we're all a work in progress, we're all dependent upon God's grace for change, is something that allows us to have empathy, allows us to stay out of judgment towards our clients. Sometimes they may be struggling with things that, maybe to us seem like possibly easy to fix, easy to change, obvious to change. But it's important to remember that we all have blind spots. We all have things about us that maybe to somebody else who's a little bit further down the path, it would be obvious to them that this is something that we need to change. But, Christian theology, a biblical worldview would teach that, we're all a work in progress. We're all dependent on God's grace. And the journey is never over from a spiritual perspective. Scripture calls this the process of sanctification, becoming more and more like Christ. I had a mentor a long time ago who told me when I first came to faith that being a Christian was like being in a dark room with a dimmer switch on it, and that God just slowly turns the dimmer switch up just a little bit at a time so that we can see ourselves more and more clearly, see the parts of our lives that are not like Christ, that do not reflect his grace, that are not an accurate representation of him to the world, so that we can do something about it. And then he turns the dimmer switch up a little bit more, and that process just keeps going as we go through life. So just remembering that our clients are in a process of change. We are in a process of change. We're just all travelers on the same journey towards Christ-likeness. And hopefully that helps you maintain unconditional positive regard and have empathy for your clients. And at the very least, it allows you to reflect God's love and grace to them, just like you're hoping that the people around you will reflect God's love and grace to you. So, good perspective to maintain. I talk a little bit about this on pages 48 through 50 in the Life Care Training book. There's a few quotes in there that you might want to look at. And I just think it's worth mentioning here before we move into the actual process of change as defined in the trans-theoretical model for change, and a little bit of my own observations from clinical practice in there as well. So I will see you in that next video. Until then.